A Song to the Tune of Love by It's _ Kingston on AO3. Episode 18. Chapter 6. Outro. You all live here? Uraraka asked. She was squinting to make out the shape of the apartment building, the street lights, tragically not helping. Although she was having trouble seeing now, Uraraka had seen the place during the day. And how could she not? Easily 20 stories high, each floor having a balcony with built-in lighting and a massive parking lot to boot. Uraraka was surprised that there wasn't a guard shack by the entrance or a barbed wire fence around the perimeter. The complex was ripped straight out of a luxury home magazine. Yeah, I told you it was huge. No one else lives here though. We only get the top floor though, so it's a super long elevator ride. I only ran up the stairs once. There's like 100 flights of them? Toga gestured widely. I think they put us on the top floor for surveillance. I've seen hawks fly past and look through the windows. Okay, but why'd they give you one of the best complexes in the city free of charge? They didn't. I told you the league has good money. They wanted to put us in some normal place, but Shiggy gave people a little cash, and they bumped us up to the presidential shoot. I'll show you around if you want. I'm not sure whether to be worried about the heroes taking bribes, or to congratulate you on the upgrade. Uraraka gave a dry chuckle. Both? Toga suggested with a laugh, bordering something critical. Uraraka shrugged it off. She found it was easier to laugh and file stuff away for later around Toga, as she was far too scropatic to give Uraraka ample time to consider anything. What's the time? She wondered out loud, reaching for her phone. Toga put a hand over hers, showing Uraraka her phone. 8:17, calm down. Toga offered her an easy smile. It's not like anything horrible would happen anyways. I still don't want to get in trouble. Uraraka replied. Where's your sense of adventure? You went up on the roof of a ramen place with me. That's trespassing and you knew it. I left my sense of adventure back at the dorm. Same place I should be heading back to. Uraraka smiled uneasily. Toga laughed. Alright, that was a good one. She took Uraraka's hand. Let me show you the balcony first. Can I see it from here? It's the top one, right? Uraraka pointed up at it. With all the lights, it's hard to miss. Yeah, that one. I've got a better place to show you, though. Toga exclaimed, pulling Uraraka along for a couple of feet. Should I really be getting close right now? Aren't there cameras? And I'll need to get back to UA soon. Uraraka stopped walking, her hands falling from Toga's. The latter turned around, silently watching on. Second thoughts? Toga asked. Her smile dimmed. The bag in her hand slid to the ground. I never said that. Uraraka shook her head. I told you I'd come over next weekend. But you're already here, so why wouldn't you come in? Because I need to go back to UA. I'll be tomorrow or the day after if there weren't any scheduling conflicts. She lowered her voice, stepping forward. Are you having second thoughts? Toga blinked. Why would I? Uraraka answered. She stepped forward again, dropping her bag to take both of Toga's hands between her own, careful to not touch all 5 fingers to her hands. Toga seemed to choke on her words for a moment. Because why? Uraraka asked. Because. Toga insisted again, more firmly. Himiko, I can't help if you won't tell me what's got you so worried. You seem like you were in a good mood earlier, too. This feels really sudden to me. Just because. Leave it at that. Toga smiled, trying to pull her hand away. Uraraka held on tightly, watching her discreetly. It isn't because I can't stay the night, right? Uraraka asked. Toga glared at her, didn't speak. I already apologized for that. We worked it out. I can't do much more than that. That's not it. I get it. UA and their stupid hero rules. Stupid hero school full of stupid heroes. Toga stomped, yanked her hands free from Uraraka. Stupid, she murmured. Are you mad at UA for having rules? Or me for being a hero? Uraraka asked softly. She stepped closer, pulling a hand on Toga's shoulder. We need to talk about this, especially if it's upsetting you. See, you're all hero-y, Toga exclaimed, throwing her hands out. I can't tell if you're supposed to watch me, or if you're pitying me, or if you actually like me. She was yelling now, her voice cracking. Uraraka spoke gingerly in return. Himiko. She held her arms out, offering a hug. Toga didn't accept it for a long while, brows furrowed and eyes brimmed with tears. After many moments of deliberation, Toga sped forward and crashed into Uraraka, who caught her with ease, wrapping her in an embrace. Why? Toga spoke into her shoulder. I wasn't sent to watch you, or anyone in the league. I'm not pitying you either. Uraraka replied. I really do like you. Remember at the park? It's just fun. I like being around you. Can I ask you a few questions? She nodded softly. What made you think that? I'm sorry if it was my fault. After we got back home that night, we had dinner. She paused, leaning back to wipe at her eye. Uraraka could see the wet streaks of tears in her lamplight. Everyone was talking about you, and I don't think they wanted me to hear them, but that's what I was trained to do. I do stealth and information. I listen to things. They said they didn't trust you yet, and that you could be a spy, and then I started thinking about it, and... She trailed off, sniffing. Uraraka ran a hand across her back, making slow circles. They aren't right, but I understand why they would thought that. Let me prove it to you, even if it takes years. But why? Toga asked again, burying her face into Uraraka's shoulder. She blinked. Why not? Because you're supposed to be a hero, Toga said abruptly, and it was suddenly very apparent that that was the issue she was dancing around. So? Uraraka answered. I don't mind. You're supposed to. You're supposed to like the other heroes and fight villains and kill them. Uraraka furrowed her brows. Why would I do that? Because that's what heroes do. That's what they've always done. Toga cried. I thought you were pitying me, and I thought I'd be okay with that at first. I've always taken what I could get, but then I started hoping it wasn't as shallow or as bad as I thought it would be. Uraraka did the only thing she could do in that moment. Hold her close and let her cry. That's not it at all. I talked to you because you were there, and talking to you distracted me from how bad everything felt. Then it got a little better, and I was able to share with you that, and it made me happy. So I kept coming back and hoping you'd be there again, and we could keep talking. I shouldn't have been so worried, and should have told you how much I liked you sooner. It would have saved you some tears. Uraraka used her thumb to swipe at the tears still falling. Really? Toga asked softly. She spoke shakily, like she was hardly holding herself together. Really? Uraraka confirmed. I like you in the way that made me come out here. Well, to the park, not here, with the intention of asking you to, be my girlfriend. But I just kept pulling it off because I was worried you'd say no. Why would I do that? They were both whispering now, though neither could remember when that began to happen. Just silly little things that I couldn't help but think. Uraraka was tearing up now, whether it was embarrassment over her self-declared silly feelings, or the fact that she was too empathic for her own good. It was unknown, though it was most likely both. Silly things? Toga sniffled. Uraraka could hear just a twinge of amusement in her voice. Yeah, just like how my friends don't like you all that much, or how we hardly spend any time together at the ramen shop, or how my phone died that one time and I heard everything. That one, especially. None of that would make me say no. I don't care about your friends, or that you spend more time with the league than me, and I'm glad your phone died that time, 'cause it ended up with me getting your blood and getting to kiss you, and now. Toga pulled away, eyes red-rimmed, but smiling nonetheless. Uraraka thought her beautiful, even now. Especially now, smiling through the tears. So she thought to tell her. You're beautiful, Uraraka said softly. She pushed Toga's hair back into place, snug behind her ear. Toga giggled, and it sounded much lighter than normal. Uraraka shifted, decided this was her favorite noise. Where'd that come from? I just thought so. Uraraka blushed, looking at the apartment behind Toga. So, how's the rest of the league? You did that earlier too. Toga cut in, changing the topic. You started talking about when we were going when I told you that I loved you. She pouted. I'm sorry. Uraraka grimaced. I wasn't trying to, I just got flustered and overwhelmed and tried to switch the conversation to something easier. I don't dislike you, not at all, but I I think it's too early for me to be saying that back. We're we're reading the same book. You're just a few chapters ahead, you know? Toga nodded, her pout shifting into a brittle smile. I think so. But I'm ready to take that first step, if you are. Uraraka took a breath. Would would you be my girlfriend? Toga leaned back into her, arms wrapped around Uraraka in a tight hug. Yeah, of course, she said, just a little too loud. Uraraka chose to ignore it, knowing how overexcited Toga could get. Not that she was bursting with nervous energy, practically falling over herself in delight. Uraraka's way of celebrating just wasn't as loud, or as visually apparent. Alright, okay. Something that I want to talk about in this one, and big thing, is one, the signs of Toga being insecure and stuff like that. I think her constantly insisting for Uraraka to go to the league's base. In a way, it could link back. Okay, a lot of the time, I'm gonna say this. A lot of the times I say things, I'm like, oh, psychologically it could be this, and this. And I see Kingston in my comments being like, oh my god. That's the psychology behind it. But I didn't come to that conclusion, or I didn't do that for that, or that was completely, like, accidental kind of things. Which it happens a lot because, believe it or not, humans sometimes understand one person does this because of insecurity leading them to this. They understand the basics of it, or they understand that this happens, therefore they're gonna do this, but they don't understand the down logic of it. Like, for example, here in this, well, I mean, this is less of an example here, but in the other one, the Villainous by its_Kingston on AO3, the moments where Toga would seem insecure, or, like, you know, very clingy, or, you know, like, all that stuff, right? Kingston, you probably thought, okay, this person doesn't have a good past, and their parents kind of abandoned them. Of course, they would cling on to things that they, you know, to the very little family that they have, and be extremely hurt if someone were to betray them because they were betrayed before in the past, right? But you don't think about the psychological aspect of that, or the deeper meaning of that, because obviously an average person doesn't think about that. Which would be the fact that what she has is an attachment issue. She has attachment issue, and she has fear of detachment specifically, right? Obviously, there's attachment issues where you have fear of attachment. Toga she has fear of detachment, but she also has fear when she is, which is different. Because you might say, oh, well, Toga, like, for example, in this one, you might say, oh, Toga has an attachment issue, in the sense of she's scared to be attached. Yeah, she's scared to be attached with Uraraka, in fear of getting hurt, But here's the main difference on why her attachment issue isn't with attachment, but detachment. The biggest thing is her fear of attachment comes with the fear after that. Okay, I don't want to get close to this person, or I'm gonna get close to this person, but I'm super scared about that, and I'm gonna act really irrational to keep this person in my life because I'm scared that they're going to leave. I'm not gonna let this person in because they're gonna leave me. There's a difference. Letting someone in, but being constantly scared they're gonna leave, is you have a detachment issue or a detachment insecurity, and not letting people in, even though not letting people in fear of them leaving you would be a detachment in the sense of abandonment issues, right? Again, it presents differently, and some people have a weird mixture. Like for example, for me, I have a weird mixture where I let people close, but then as soon as they get too close, sometimes I push them away. Or specifically in depressed moods, I push everyone away. I've noticed that. I went through a little mini depressive but it was like 4 days where I was like super upset, super insecure, it was brought on because of my mental cycle. I was just super depressed and stuff, which is an actual diagnosis that you could get. But I probably don't have it. It was just a one-time thing. Because I would need to have that consistently. But I was like super depressed, super sad, super just whatever, and I pushed away everyone except my partner. And then 2 very close friends of mine whom I'm very close with, but everybody else got pushed away. Like I not even arm's length, like 6 feet away, not touching me with a metal pole, right? So people behave and react differently. It's not all grayscale. Also, I want to touch upon the fact that Toga said I love you, but Uraraka was like, hey, I'm not there yet. I like the way you described it, Kingston. Reading the same book, you're just a couple chapters ahead. That is perfect. I was gonna say, for next time I'll explain it that way, but there is gonna be no next time. I have a partner whom I already say I love you to because I love them a lot. I love them deeply. Which is hard to, I think they're the first person I've fallen for super fucking fast. I normally take a while, but like we just click in a spiritual, emotional, and just overall click. It is, God, this is like the closest person I've gotten to saying like, yeah, no, this is a soulmate, right? Like I've gotten another person where it's like, yeah, we're soulmates, but it's like after like months of talking where it's like, yeah, I love this person, we're platonic soulmates, right? And me and Sunny are like, no, yeah, we're soulmates. But what's it called? It's a perfect way to describe it. The reading the same book, right? You guys are both on the same page. You both like each other. You both want to end up at the same location, end with the same book. But one of you is a couple chapters ahead, right? Which is normal. It's average for that to happen, for one person to be ready to say the L word, while the other isn't. For example, in my case with Sunny, my partner was ready to say the L word before I was. And like I explained to them like, hey, I like you. I do. And I'm sorry that I can't say I love you back. I think the way I explained it was, I'm sorry I can't say I love you back. It's not, yeah, I don't, but it's not that I don't like you. I like you. But I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'll get there. I'll be there soon. Right? But I'm not there yet. So I'm not going to say it, just to please you either. I'm not that type of person. When I say it, it'll be meaningful. And I think the first time I said it, we were in a late night call. And that's when I like said it, which I mean, valid. And almost always, what's it called? When I realize that I like someone, I am crying about them, right? And in this sense, I wasn't crying, but I was very much in my hurt comfort feels. Because I'm like, I wish that they were physically here with me because it's a long distance relationship. So I was like super upset and stuff, but I wasn't crying. But I was upset. I was getting there. I think the only reason I didn't cry was because I had them in a phone call and we were just talking. But it's really relatable. I love the way you described it. It's a way I've never thought of describing it before, and I love that way of describing it. It's gonna help me a lot in the future, so thank you a lot. Or I guess it's not gonna help me anymore. gonna help me help my friends. There you go. It's not gonna help me personally, but it's gonna help people I know IRL, or just people I know. They're like, hey, I don't want to say the L word back, but this other person already said the L word. How do I explain to them that I'm not ready yet without seeming rude? I'm like, tell them that you're in the same book, just on different chapters. One of you is 2, 3, 4 chapters ahead, while you're still in this chapter, right? Same book, same pages, or not same pages, but you're in the same books, right? You're in the same book. You're reading the same thing, except one of you is a couple chapters ahead. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.